Hello, everyone. My name is Janice Montgomery Albo-Strausser, and welcome to Driven to Success Virtual Coffee. Our guest today is Imani Aieshah. Hello, Imani.
Hi, how are you, Janice?
I am great.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you. You as well.
Thank you. Imani, the first 3 months of the year, people tend to focus on their wellness.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many pillars of wellness. I'm sure you would agree. Emotional wellness,
Mm-hmm.
for your business, for your health and wellness, of course, but for relationships.
Absolutely.
And that's what you do. You're involved in relationships.
I am, absolutely.
Share that thought process with our audience, please.
Well, relationships are definitely part of our wellness, right? Because if you think about it, if you're dealing in a relationship and it's a rough day, that stays with you throughout the day. You're feeling the stress, you're feeling the heaviness of that,
Mm-hmm.
and how we can start to combat that. A big part of how we combat that is to make sure that we are fostering and nurturing healthy relationships, and what that really means, not just what it seems like it means, right? So you're going to have issue and conflict, but how do you actually navigate that? How do you mitigate that? That's where it becomes healthy.
How would you recommend, given we are in the beginning of the year, 2020, that men and women, both men and women, tend to think about moving forward with their relationships this year? How should we think about that?
The first thing that you definitely want to do, because we're in the beginning of the year is also the time where folks make new intentions for their lives and for their, like you're saying, their physical wellness. A lot of times, right? People are going to the gym. They're trying this is the year I'm going to eat better and all of these things. But the intention that you make towards things like that is just as important to set intentions for your relationship. And folks don't usually do that. This is a relationship that matters to you. This is a relationship that you want to move forward. You want to have clear intentions for what it looks like for you to move forward. So you're not just going with emotions and doing your own thing and not looking at how you can nurture the relationship that you're in.
And that, I'm certain, runs the gamut. Marriage relationships, of course. Children, siblings.
Oh, say that again, please. I'm sorry.
I'm sure marriage relationships, children, relationships with your children.
Absolutely.
Business, professional.
Right.
On the job, at work. I mean, imagine going to a job that you can't stand the folks you work with.
Oh my goodness, you don't want to go. Part of the joy of going to the job is those little water cooler moments, standing. I remember when I did have a more traditional job, standing at the desk, talking with people, having conversation, going to lunch. And you want to be in an environment where you're comfortable with those relationships. And so these are the relationships that matter to you, then we have to stand for those relationships as well. As much as we stand for the relationship that we have for ourselves, which more people are inclined to do around this time of the year, as opposed to thinking about how do I be more intentional, more positive, and more progressive with the relationships that are in my life.
I've heard you say intentional. I've heard you say more positive, which doesn't mean we're not positive, but more positive. And my favorite word is progressive.
Why is that your favorite?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Why is that your favorite?
Yeah, well, why is it my favorite? Because I'm an active person, not passive. So that means you're doing something every single day. intentionally.
Absolutely. It's funny because when I talk to couples or I talk to folks in relationship, they're like, I have to be intentional every day.
That's
That
right.
seems like a lot. But the answer is yes. That's how we develop habits that are healthy, right? We brush our teeth every day. We take showers every day, hopefully, right? We do these things daily and they become part of our lives. We fold them in.
And if that relationship is an intentional relationship, it becomes what? A habit.
Exactly.
A habit.
Exactly.
It's like
Exactly.
making your own bed.
Exactly. Because think about it, however long that you're in the relationship, if it's a familial relationship or family, it's been a long time.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a relationship that's more romantic, it depends on how long you've been together. If it's a co-working relationship, how long you've been at the job, but you've been creating the dynamic that you currently have over time.
Yes.
And so to be able to say, well, now I need to do this differently so that we can foster a healthier relationship, then that means that you have to switch some things that you have done over time. And that doesn't come just off the bat. You have to really be intentional. You have to be aware. Yeah. And be aware of what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Before we move forward, let me ask you about your backstory.
Sure.
How'd you get started in this?
How did I get started in this? My background is actually in English literature and composition and rhetoric and teaching. I was an instructor, a college instructor for a few years coming out of graduate school, and I loved it. I really did. I loved being in the classroom. I loved interacting with my students. I loved it. That was my place. You hear me? When I closed that door, that was my stake in my place. But like many things that are business, and I'm sure many people can relate to this, it was a business. There were other parts of that. There was the bureaucracy and the red tape and the other things that went along with being in the college environment and teaching in that environment. Mm-hmm. And so when I got pregnant, like many women do, you start thinking about your life and what you want to do. And it was a transitional time for me, in a transitional period. So I went to Google University, to be honest with you, Janice, and I said, these are the things that I know that I'm good at. Let me generate some ideas and get creative of what I can do in this next chapter of my life. And I came to coaching, and it was like, the birth. It was an aha moment. I said, what is this? Where has this been all my life? So I just got deep into coaching. I went and got certified as a life coach first. Mm-hmm. And I was doing that, but I've always been about relationships. I have the background in creative writing as well, in poetry and playwriting and things like that. So fun fact, but my topics were always about relationships. Mm-hmm. I'm a child of divorce. I came from a situation where I did not see a healthy relationship. And how many of you listening can say, I didn't see a healthy relationship growing up either. And so I wanted to stake my claim and do my part to say, I know that this can be done differently. Mm-hmm. And so it was almost a no-brainer to go into my specialty, which is dealing in relationships and specifically communication. So that's the gist of how I got here. Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to assume, therefore, that you've used these techniques in your own personal relationships. Absolutely. Otherwise, how would you know they work?
Right. Absolutely. For a lot of coaches, we're our first transformation, right? I mean, if we're honest, because we have to go through our own transitions and our own transformations. Absolutely. I have deep friendships. I have a deep relationship with my husband, which is also a friendship. And I know you and I have talked about our marriages and our relationship. And without a doubt, the things that I've had to do that I know are not easy, like some ego check-in that has to be done in relationships to get through conflict and to get to resolution. I've had to do them myself. And I'm transparent with folk about, my community and my tribe and my list about what has transpired within my own marriage, the lessons that I've learned along the way, and in relationships that I've had, to encourage them to do the same, because that's how we heal, that's how we grow. I remember hearing a quote one time from someone that said, our relationships are our curriculum, right? And we kind of matriculate through that, and we learn through that. So absolutely, I use it every day.
And we do. Before we move on, let me allow you to give your contact information. We'll be on the screen as well. But you are actually in Atlanta, Georgia today.
Yes, I am.
And I'm in Dallas, Texas. So don't you love technology?
Yes, isn't it great? So we just bridge the divide.
Absolutely. Your contact information, please.
Yes. So you can find me at my website and just my digital home, and peruse more about me at ImaniAieshah.com. That's IMANIAIESHAH.com. And I know it's going to be in the link, so I won't repeat it for you, because I know you were probably trying to write it down. And one of the best ways, if you really want to reach out to me, is to reach out to me via email. I love to receive notes and emails from people and actually have a rapport and a dialogue. And so that's just Imani at ImaniAieshah.com. So you can email me there as well.
Great. We'll be right back. Don't go away.